Debbie's raising her hand. You want to ask her what she wants.
Hey, Debbie, did you have a question before we get started?
After that, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Was that your Debbie?
She might have heard public comments, but she might have
Didn't want to put it down, so she left. Come back later.
I think we're almost.
Robbie, thank you so much for your thorough response. I read it.
Okay, perfect. Did I answer all your questions?
You did, thank you.
Okay.
You did it more thoroughly than I expected. Yeah, not that I didn't expect that from you. I didn't expect you to have to.
I was.
Oh, you man.
You know what I mean.
I do.
I'll bring you guys more cookies. I'm sorry.
All right, Vince, can you hear us?
Yes.
And call to order our special King City special session, starting at 5:37. All right, let's do roll call. Councilor Gearhart.
Here.
Council President Braverman.
I'm here.
Councilor Tyso.
Okay. Over there.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Councilor Tyso. Here. Councilor Diddy.
Here.
And Mayor Kavler here. Before we get started, I just want to say at the conclusion of the special city council meeting, the City of King City Council will meet in executive session for the purpose of conducting deliberations on labor negotiations under ORS 192.6602D. Right, and if you're able and would like to, please rise for a second. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to start tonight with our reports. So first up, Police Chief's report, if you have one for us.
Real quick, Officer Joey Haynes is now out solo. He's completed his PD onboarding, so he is out and about, currently a night shift, Wednesday through Saturday. And I talked briefly about Axon issues, which is our body cams and tasers. Those issues have been resolved with the downloading and digital evidence sharing. And then I'd also like to introduce, since we're not going to do it, Erin Carey in the back room, Sergeant Aragoni. She's been hired as the King City PIO, and she's going to be wearing many hats like all of us do. And so, she's on, so please welcome Erin.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And that's about it as far as I can.
Great. All right. City Manager Pro Tem, do you have a report for us?
So I know a lot of stuff's going to be covered in the reports. We've been chasing down a lot of, some questions that were asked, and so we spent a better part of the day doing that. A lot of meetings going on. Ronnie's been doing, I got to say this right now. So Ronnie and Max have been doing a wonderful job. And we've been chasing down a lot of stuff because I come in and I ask a lot of questions. And so, because it's still, I'm fairly, I'm getting flooded with a lot of stuff. And so I rely on them, and it's a way to see people kind of take off and get into their element and do the things that I know that they can do. So it's wonderful. I just want to bring that to your attention. They're doing a great job, especially with all the stuff. We got to ask some stuff today. We got to ask stuff the other day. I've been working on, CBA stuff that we're going to talk about later. And so it's a joy to see the crew is really taking off. and here in City Hall. And so it's nice to see. It's a good time right now. So I'm sure I can change that somewhere along the line. You know, it's been really good. But that's about all I have for right now.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ronnie, on that.
Yeah, well, it's not just me and Ronnie, it's also Mira, Diana, Sam, Aaron, so.
Shout out to everybody helping. We know it's all,
Don't have to come to these meetings.
yes, we know it's all hands on deck, and we do very much appreciate everything that everybody's doing, so. Okay, we will move on to our, staff reports.
Yes, so I did prepare some general talking points because I do want to provide information so that the city council is brought up to speed on mostly what my department has been doing, and what I'm anticipating to be doing moving forward for some time. And I'll just kind of give you some, like, brief overview, a high-level overview. So, grants. So the city has been awarded 3 total grants for community development, in the last year, starting with the Oregon State Marine Board grant, which I'll go into more details later on because it relates to the resolution that's on the agenda. But then we've also been awarded the Nature and Neighborhoods grant, which I've given a presentation on, kind of giving you guys some background. I'm still waiting to hear back from Metro on the next steps post-award. As I mentioned before, I'm expecting to get some sort of IGA or grant agreement, which will have to be approved by the council. So once I get that on my desk, I'll run it by legal. We'll have to kind of figure out exactly how to do that. Also, Pathways grant from ODOT to do some preliminary design work on the future Tualatin River pedestrian bicycle bridge that would connect to the West Side Trail. So it's just going to be, the grant program itself is actually very generous because it only demands a 10% match from the city. So it's about a $400,000 grant provided by ODOT with only a $40,000 match from the city. And it will allow us to do survey work, geological work, technical work, and kind of figure out what the design of the bridge should look like, as well as public outreach. So we'll have open houses and we'll have alternatives and fun stuff like that. So I'm more than willing to share detailed information. Building permits. So if you go over to the Kingston Terrace Town Center over on Roy Rogers and Deep Bend, you'll see that they are beginning to put in curbs around these streets that will be put in on phase 1, which is the actual corner of Roy Rogers and Deep Bend. I went out to that site this morning with the city engineer, and he was pretty happy with the way that it's shaping up. They're expecting to start laying asphalt for the streets sometime in the next 3 weeks. And once they lay asphalt, then according to the development agreement between the city and the developer, they will be able to start getting issued building permits and start going vertical. So far, we have 47 building permits in the queue that will be activated once that asphalt is poured and you have solid transportation infrastructure in place for emergency access and things like that. So those will start coming in after the streets are put in, and then they've also submitted and been approved and issued 6 building permits for model homes, which are becoming to be vertical. There's a sales trailer out there right now. So that's just what we're expecting to have completed by the end of 2025. And this is part of phase 1. Phase 1 will be finalized likely in 2026. With phase 2 being finalized in 27, phase 3, 28, so on, until phase 5 is done, which is the last phase. But just phase 1 for like revenue sources for the city, we're looking at, I'm a little less knowledgeable on revenue sources as far as like the building permit side, because we do our building services out of house with Claire Company, but I am the administrator for the city with SDCs, and so I don't have the exact numbers right now, but I'm expecting estimates of about $30,000 in admin fees through SDCs from phase 1 to be input to the city general fund, $300,000 in transportation SDCs to be put in the transportation SDC fund, and $380,000 in parks SDCs, which the parks SDCs for the town center are going to be going into an escrow account, which will be managed by a third-party title company. Because New Home Company over there at the town center is building those park blocks. and they will be pulling money to get reimbursed from building the park blocks from that escrow account. So those SDCs for the town center are not going into our accounts, they're going into the escrow account. And then anything that's left over after that park is complete will then be deposited in the parks. So that is all expected to happen within the next year. Street improvements will be commencing on Monday. Sergeant Aragoni and Ms. Carrie and I went out yesterday and dropped off notices ourselves. I'm expecting the contractor to also do notices, but I want to make absolutely sure that we are providing everyone with enough notice. I also printed out maps of the design work. I had a resident reach out to me yesterday with some concern from Access, so I went over to her house earlier today and chatted with her a little bit and brought her the traffic control plan, and I promised her that I would go to her house on Monday. There's only so much we can plan on because they haven't actually put the stuff on the ground yet, but it sounds like we should be able to move around access points. And it's going to be a one-way road that'll go down Majestic and then go counterclockwise around Crown after doing the work on the edge of the...
About how long do you think that'll take?
The infrastructure for the stormwater will take 2 weeks, and then there will be 1 week off, and then it'll be another week for the paving.
This is the one with the arborvitae, that whole
Yeah.
area. That's the
Yeah.
area that we're doing right now. We're not doing anything else.
No, the
Okay.
paving is going to be in September, and that's going to be for Riviera.
Riviera.
King Richard.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's later.
That's later.
Okay.
What did you say after the 1 week off? 2 weeks infrastructure, 1 week off, and then how long?
Infrastructure for the stormwater.
Yeah.
And then a week off, and then in September, there's going to be the paving for all 3 streets. Ronnie just brought up an aerial, actually, going back a little bit to what infrastructure is shaping up to be over there in the town center. So
And so how many homes do you think will be up there by the end of this year?
by the end of this year, I'm
Wild guess.
expecting there to be about 55 by the end of 2025. And then by the end of phase 1, I think it's going to be roughly 330, but about 140 of those are going to be in apartments. So they're putting in some apartment mixed-use buildings in phase 1, which are down the center. You can't really see it too well on that photo, but on the far left is going to be the main boulevard, and that's where the apartments will be. Coming
Should
down
make
the main boulevard, you're going to be flanked with apartment buildings. on
Sure,
both sides.
that'll make the developers happy, won't it?
It should. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive what they're doing out there. The picture doesn't do it justice, but if you've been to Al's Garden Center, you'll know that Al's is a pretty big place, and you can see it just right there on the top right, so just to give you some scale. And they're also doing some improvements on Deep Bend and Roy Rogers, and that's all kind of going through the county because those are county facilities. So I've been working with the planning commission. We actually have a workshop at the end of the month on the 27th, I believe. We've been going over some strategies for code amendments. Specifically, the planning commission wasn't super thrilled about the Kensington Square development because it didn't provide any green space. And so I've been rattling my brain and talking with planners at Metro. I reached out to DLCD, which is the be-all, end-all planning department in the state, Department of Land Conservation Development. We have a regional rep who's super helpful, and I've talked to some planners in other cities about ways to potentially do that. So it would be not simple, but it would be a code amendment. But the problem with requiring developers to do parks is that the city still has to meet our housing goals. And we have to provide evidence that if we require 3% of the development to have a park, then we can still provide the minimum required density for. There's some formulaic stuff that has to go in. And I'll wrap this up, as Ronnie's giving me the wrap up. For next week, there will be an annexation application hearing. We've received an application for annexation, which has already gone through the planning commission. That'll be a first reading, and then just a reminder that you will have the code amendment, second reading, ordinance. That's it for me.
Where is the annexation that they're asking us to annex them?
Yeah, it's one single property, and they basically, last year, in January 2024, it was part of no, more than that, it was like 180 acres basically developed where the town center is. And there was one single home who had a split lot, and the homeowner wanted to keep her home, but she annexed the land around her home. And then I guess now, a year and a half later, she decided to annex the rest of the property. I actually spoke to her son-in-law, I believe, yesterday. He came into the office, and Ronnie and I spoke with him for about an hour about some interesting ideas he has about King City and some other stuff.
All right, thank you very much. Go ahead and move on to mayors and councilors' reports. Councilor Gearhart, we'll go ahead and start with you.
So as representative for the council to the HOAs, Patty and I went to the HOA, KCCA HOA meeting Tuesday night. And it was the usual kind of meeting. There were probably 60 people there. They have a couple of issues that they're talking about. One thing that I noted was they didn't do the Pledge of Allegiance. Every time that we've been to their meetings in the past, they've done the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't know why that is. The other thing they're debating is whether they can use the clubhouse for political reasons. There is the Republican Party Committee, the Democratic Party Committee. Both of them have been around for many, many years, decades, and they've used that clubhouse as their meeting room. Apparently in the last meeting, I think the board elected to not let that happen anymore. That came up at Tuesday night's meeting in public forum. And a number of people are pushing back. I think you're going to see in the next meeting, I think they're going to readdress that issue, maybe vote on it again. Anyway, it was very interesting. And one thing that occurred to me, Ronnie and Max has provided us on City Council with some great training, parliamentary training and other stuff. And as I go to the HOA meetings, I see a real huge need for that kind of training. I wonder if the next time we do training, is there any way that we can invite the HOA representatives to also join? That should be a nice
public meeting, something of that nature.
They could come, but they're,
Like a workshop.
they're private,
Sure.
they're not constrained to public rules, we are, like, open.
Yeah, I mean, well, they weren't live streamed, but they were recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it would be a great gesture and sure do them a lot of good.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Anyway, that's it. That's all I have.
Thank you. Council President Braverman.
All right, well, I have quite a few things. I'll try to be quick. So I attended the two trainings that, the parliamentary procedure training and the overall training from LSC, and I thought they were both excellent. And the trainings reinforced, for me, our collective need for a bunch of things that I want to kind of outline. There's a collective need for a strong parliamentarian who is neutral, but is also knowledgeable about the rules. Next, it showed a strong need to fix what I call our infrastructure. We need to really amend our charter and make it match the municipal code and remove those ambiguities and the conflicts between the two. We also need to change several sections of our charter and code, and those trainings really pointed out several areas that I could elaborate on later. It also pointed out that we do need neutral attorneys that have different subject matter expertise. In talking with some council yesterday, found out that not all the city councilors actually know parliamentary rules, for example. We need a neutral financial audit. We need that review done by a neutral party so we know where the money's been spent, where it's not been spent. We need city councilors to have access to those financials on a regular basis in order to make decisions, because most of the council is asked to make does affect money, and that money is coming out of the taxpayers' pockets, most of it. And so I think it's really imperative that we come to some agreement in our charter and our municipal code that city councilors, starting now to the future, will have access to those financials on a regular basis. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what kind of platform we could do. It would be nice if we had our own access on the city website where the city councilors could go in and look at those without having to bombard somebody like Ronnie to have to pitch those out every day. Just trying to think ahead and being cost effective. We need to find city councilors who are willing to dive deep into the subject matters, ask the appropriate questions, help the city council make the very best decisions for the people of King City, not just rubber stamp what might be told to them or presented to them. These trainings brought out that we need a city manager who is not only competent in the areas of managing the city, but one who is ethical, transparent, accountable, doesn't hide facts, can listen to the needs of the people, can be neutral in presenting items to be discussed at the city council, can allow the city council to deliberate without interrupting or influencing and letting the city council come to a decision on behalf of the city, who can take constructive feedback, who takes care of the staff fairly, neutrally, without bias or favoritism, who will agree to have a yearly performance review, who doesn't just work with the city attorney to the exclusion of city council, but actually works collaboratively with everyone for the betterment of the city. Understand there's a check and balance system here in King City, with the city council supposedly managing the city manager and also managing the city attorney. We also must show where the money is being spent, what the money is being spent on, and that the city is being able to show they're being fiscally responsible to the residents of King City. We also must reach out to our business community as well. Seems like we never really include them, and I think they need to be included. At one point, I did ask, could we just find out, who's going to take over Sherry's, and I was like, that. Oh, well, you can't control. I never said we wanted to control that. It would just be nice to inquire and to see what's going on and show an interest in the business community there. It looks like we need to get a poll from our residents and seek their input and show that the city council and that the city of King City is actually listening to the constituents and letting them also have a chance to drive the bus, not just having the city council drive the bus or the city staff drive the bus. It looked like these trainings showed that we need to create an outside neutral body of people, maybe a committee of not only residents, but other people that live in the surrounding areas that could can do research and advise the city council, and also be a place where we could go if there's a conflict and need some outside input. And I think we need to make sure that not just one person is sitting on all the committees and commissions, and that there's real balance of who is representing the people of King City. So these are the things that I have felt very strongly about as a result of the really good trainings that we went through. And I just really want to thank everyone for really trying, Max and Ronnie, for really trying to show that we're really going to set this up in a new dimension. I'm very encouraged and trying to be very optimistic that we have a big opportunity right now to really change from the bottom up how we're going to be working together going forward, how we're going to take care of the people and the residents of King City, how we're going to show, not to speak that we're listening, but to show that we're listening, show that we have nothing to hide and that we are really being responsible and responsive, and that we are taking care of the workers. It's been very upsetting to me, as I've mentioned many times, that we're able to spend all this money acquiring all this beautiful land, but then our workers are working a year without a contract. That literally breaks my heart, and I want to make sure that never happens again. So I really am very optimistic that moving forward, after having these very important trainings, that we could address some of the issues that I'm bringing up in my report.
Thank you.
Podcast, yeah.
All right, Councilor Tyso.
Obviously, all of us went to those same trainings, and I think we all got similar feelings about it. And so I appreciate your overview of the whole thing. And, part of my feeling is that, yes, we definitely need a strong legal team to advise us and to keep us from making missteps that cause problems for the city, because first and foremost, we need to protect our city and protect our citizens. And so I totally agree with that 100%. And I'm looking forward to the search for a new city manager. And I think that comes up in the next week's meeting. So I will leave that part alone. I can't be two people at once. So tonight I was also supposed to be at the Policy Advisory Committee meeting, but which starts at 7, so I'm not going to get there.
We don't know that.
We're gonna try to finish.
Which is kind of one of those near and dear to my heart sort of things, because that's where we make a lot of decisions about what resources that we do have are spent wisely to help people who are less fortunate. You know, it has to do with food banks and improving streets and parks, low-income neighborhoods and low-income housing and a lot of those kinds of things. So, but that's really all I have to say.
Councilor Arditi?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Can you hear me? Okay. A few things. Steve, the KCCA thing with the political thing, those people approached me, I don't know, 5 months ago and asked me to intercede because the people that were wanting to run their political thing through there had been allowed to do that in the past. So that was all, even though that was removed and they didn't want them to do it, they let them do it this time. So going forward, that's up to the KCCA to decide if they want to continue to do that. As far as the business community, during my campaign, I approached every business in the city, left my card before I had a card, and discussed this with everybody. The Sherry situation will not change anytime soon. They're working through some different options as far as that building goes. I would talk to the people at Gambino's as part of someone that might want to go in there. They've already expanded. They're not going to move in there. And from what I understand, that building probably has seen better days. It may need to come down at some point. So that's where that stands. Megan DeSalvo, I think I might have talked to you before. She is the head of the Chamber of Commerce of Tigard. And at the beginning of all this, when I got involved, I spoke to her and said, why do you have King City businesses represented in your guide? And she said, we have no Chamber of Commerce in King City to support our businesses. So that's why that's the case. Yeah, a lot of things have to be fixed, but one thing at a time. Last thing, I know we have a deadline for our next city council person to be assigned, right? How many people, Ronnie, how many people do we have that's applied to this point? I think it's the 16th is the deadline for the first position.
Ronnie says we have one applicant.
Okay, so if we only have one applicant, that means that person's automatically part of council, or do we choose to accept or reject?
We
You still gotta,
would still need to appoint.
We could accept or reject.
No, I'm
Can
assuming,
accept or reject.
And that,
I'm
No,
assuming,
they don't automatically be on.
okay, that's all. I just assumed they would automatically be on, but with the vote, obviously. So, and I have no problem with that. So that's all I have. Thanks.
yeah, we will, the due date is Saturday, August 16th. And then we will hold interviews at our regular council meeting next Thursday, the 21st. If there is just one, we will still interview and vote. All right. Thank you, Councilor Arditi. And then for me, I'll try to keep it brief. The trainings we had last week and this week really were great. Super helpful for me since, I'm still very new to being mayor and figuring everything out. One of the things that struck me was at the very end of our session on Tuesday, we talked about high functioning councils and characteristics. And one of those with having a strategic plan, a short-term strategic plan. I know we have master plan or comp plan, but it would be really great to also have, in my opinion, a 6-month strategic plan. Where do we want to be in 6 months? What do we want to have accomplished? And how are we going to get there? What are we going to put on each meeting between now and then? What are the steps we're going to take between now and then? Super glad you're here, because one of the things I thought of is creating a poll for the community where Councilor Braverman and I have spoke about this. We really do want community input. So something maybe next week we can discuss maybe 5 to 8 things we think might be of interest to the community and let them just rank them for us, give them an opportunity to provide additional comments. And we can take that input into a work session or special session along with what we view as goals for the city for the next 6 months, and really kind of nail down a plan, because there's a lot that we're doing right now and a lot that needs to get done. And I am a very linear kind of person. Here's where we want to be. Here's how we're going to get there. So that's what I would like to see as something, Ronnie, maybe we can add it to our agenda next week, just a quick discussion about some things that we could put on a poll to send out to the community, and maybe even offer some like coffee with the mayor. I know that has happened before in the past too, or maybe going around to the different HOAs. I'm not really sure about all that part of it. We can kind of flesh it out a little bit next week, but figuring out how we can get the community more involved in our next steps.
I suggested to the mayor, we could do a coffee with the president, coffee with the mayor, available, I'm available. Get out to all the HOAs, really get out to the senior centers, get out to the people who don't really use computers, may not be coming to our meetings, don't really want to do a poll, don't know how to do a poll.
Yeah. We'll discuss it more next week, but we want to go ahead and wrap up our reports. But that's just all that I had for today was, that's kind of been one of my goals, is figure out our short-term city goals. So, that concludes our reports. We do not have any special presentations tonight, so we will move on to our open forum. Open forum is intended to ensure community has an opportunity to provide input for items being considered on the agenda or make suggestions for future agendas. At this time, we'll be happy to receive your comments pertaining to items on this agenda, with the exception of hearings for which testimony will be received. We don't have any public hearings tonight, and we will limit it to about 3 minutes. So we did not have a sign-up sheet, so I will just take it by show of hands. We got our first one here. Go ahead and step up and tell us your name and where you live. Do you want to, Ronnie, can we move this podium? Unless you want to stand there.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you got something to lean against?
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, councilors. My name is Ray Waller. I live at the Royal Gardens condominiums, and as do 3 of my friends here. And they've been here everywhere from 25 years to 1 week. The reason we're here is that just north of our property, there is a large field, it's several acres, and it's owned by the family that owns the dentistry up there. Dentistry again? Apple Tree Dentistry. And that field is a real mess. We've caught one neighbor that doesn't even live there dumping his yard refuge right into that area. So it's overgrown with grass and reeds. I've submitted a formal complaint to Ronnie regarding those weeds and grass on the property. But I felt it was really important to bring this to the attention of the council, because you are the ultimate authorities on this kind of thing. And with your permission, I'd like to show you 3 photographs that we have. Thank you. These are 3 photographs that were taken
Thank you so much.
from the primarily from the
Oh, thank you.
second floor apartment above me. Okay,
1 minute left, just so.
okay, 1 minute left. Okay, there were 3 photos that were taken mostly from the second floor, and there was one, photograph that was taken at, ground level, a couple of photographs that were taken at ground level. And what I'm asking for, and what we're asking for, is that this property is clearly in violation of the ordinance 804050, specifically section B1 weeds, more than 6 inches high, and B2 grass, more than 6 inches high. And, we're asking you to please remedy this situation as soon as possible, and, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
I have a question for clarification. What's the dental office again?
Apple Tree?
Apple Tree, yes.
Apple Tree?
I have talked to Apple Tree.
We're gonna actually refrain from a back and forth at this point, but, could we have, city staff reach out to you after?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much for bringing this to our attention, though. Is there any other public comment?
I would correct Debbie's hand raise was a mistake.
I was just gonna ask, do we have anybody online? Just in case she decided to. If anybody online would like to provide public comment, could you please raise your hand? Use the raise hand feature. Randy, go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor, for recognizing me. And I do support Resolution 2025-15. I just had a quick question. Is Exhibit A, which regards the scope of work for engineering services, is that separate and not necessary to passing the resolution?
Yes, please. Or, you know what, actually, let's go ahead and get to that when we get to that part of the agenda. Yes, Exhibit A, could you actually restate it just so I can have it too? In Exhibit A, what was your question?
Well, if it's necessary to pass the resolution, then it needed to be amended to reflect the new project schedule dates and the city's new signatory. But I didn't know if you had to have the Schedule A or Exhibit A, maybe that's it, Exhibit A. Is that necessary to pass the resolution?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, yeah, we will address that when we get to that. Is there anybody else online? Hearing none, we will go ahead and close public comment, and we will move on to unfinished business. Our first item up is to discuss and consider our a key code agreement for our audio equipment upgrade. Hi, would you join us, please?
Hey, Ronnie, were you able to get that presentation? Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get my last.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you all for inviting me to be here. That is the name of, yeah, of the company that I work for.
I don't want any more passwords answering this.
No, nothing that complex. Is it making you sign in?
The PowerPoint.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Key code here today to present to us their proposal on an audio upgrade, which has been very needed for a long time, to just kind of shore up the issues that we have with streaming and with people being able to hear, and just a lot of issues we've had. So we've looked over the proposal. I think it was on the agenda maybe a month or two ago, and we've asked you to come and just tell us how it'll work and what you're going to be providing, and that way we just have a fuller picture on what we're approving.
I do have a printout, I have a printout of the proposal, but I don't, yeah, is there a way for me to plug my laptop in? I could present from my laptop.
Yeah.
Does that cause more issues?
Well, I don't know.
Is it the same as this?
That is the proposal.
No, it's on our, it's,
Is it the same as your PowerPoint?
It's not the same as my PowerPoint, but I can just talk through my PowerPoint.
Okay, is there a way to just plug it in?
Go straight to the monitor on it, you just won't get online.
I know that.
Yeah, I have an HDMI out.
Yeah.
So pretty.
We would love to see it.
Oh, that's his proposal, it's not a PowerPoint.
I know.
Oh, I didn't have that, okay.
read the whole book.
I'm gonna mess everything up.
Did I mess anything up?
I just tried this with training, it didn't work. Well, I guess I didn't put it all the way, way to put your,
It's working.
Yeah, thank you. See?
There you go.
Told you. Well, even the room clock's right.
Yes, will you be able to fix all of these things happening to us at our meeting? That's the important question I want to know.
This is his test right now.
Yeah,
I can,
okay.
this is particularly, focused on the audio portion.
We need the whole thing like redone.
Yeah.
Can you just redo everything so it just works so much easier for all of us, so we can conduct our meetings and not have to like go, what did you say? Can you hear me now?
Yes. That is the quick and dirty answer is yes, that's what we do. That's what I've done for many.
Working?
2 out of 3 is 35.
Is that one broken?
Thank you for coming.
Anyway, all right, so, so these are the current audio issues that were brought to me for us to solve. So, basically, you've got an aging maxed out, digital signal processor, acronym is DSP. Basically, that guy's ready to go and retire and live on a beach and just, be done with life, right? So, it's got no capacity to grow anymore. So, it can't handle any more processing, so we recommend, even though it was something that you guys implemented a couple of years ago, it was repurposed for this use case, and it's really long in the tooth and it's ready to be done. So some of the issues, you've got analog Zoom going to the PC connection, right? So it's adding noise and interference into the system. You've got inconsistent microphone coverage in the room, and then limited flexibility for system expansion. So those are the issues that we were asked to address. And I don't know why it's not advancing.
it's probably not your, it's probably our system. So you could close that page and just open your second page. There you go. Looks good.
All right, so, proposed solution, is to install assured, fee, our 100 DSP, digital, signal processor with Dante audio for clean digital signal routing. We want to add a Shure MXA 920 ceiling microphone, to give better coverage over the whole room, and one will suffice for this area, for this size of room. We want to add 2 wireless microphones, so that you have, like that, and if you have a guest speaker. We want to integrate USB audio to go right into your Zoom PC, that we can eliminate some of that noise. And then we propose using a Netgear AV switch, to give stable AV network, traffic. So there are cheaper switches out on the market. We recommend Netgear because they're one of the only ones that do have an AV purpose switch. What you would save, my time's up. What you would save in money for that switch, you would spend in commissioning. So we just prefer to get something that's out of the box ready. Okay. So Dante, I wanted to talk about Dante a little bit and help you understand why you might be experiencing some of the audio issues that you're having. When you have analog signals going through, what you really have are all of those cables that connect into your system. Those become, in a sense, antennas, right? And they pick up all of that electrical interference as they pass through. And so when you speak into a microphone, that's all going into the system as well. So it's coming and picking up all that electrical interference along the way and creating some of those hisses and pops and things that you don't want to hear. Dante Audio is a technology that allows you to do audio video over an IP network. So basically what happens is it comes in as a data signal and goes out through, and it's not an audio signal, which is the input. So it eliminates that analog to digital mess that kind of happens. So the USB audio integration, again, the current is an analog setup, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, speaking of audio.
Yeah, there you go. So it right now is the same thing, taking an analog signal, going into a digital computer, right? And so when we convert that signal over, then it does give some of that interference. When we talk about doing a ceiling array microphone, literally we can install it right here in the middle of the room and cover everybody speaking and not have to worry about, stepping up to the mic, which I totally appreciate. You have really good mic skills. So I appreciate seeing that. That's wonderful. The wireless mics will provide flexibility for people like myself coming in or guest speakers and things like that. And then with this new system, you will have a room to grow. If you need to add council members or if you need to add more mics to the system, you can grow with it. If you need to do more with your streaming platform, that all can help. So the question was asked, what if this doesn't fix the issue? I can tell you that this is proven technology that we've installed across the state of Oregon. We've done it in Wilsonville, we've done it in the city of Milwaukee, city of Monmouth for their new town, the city hall. We did this down in the city of Ashland as well. So we know that this technology works, but we will be doing a full commissioning included in this proposal, right? So we will test to make sure that this is actually working the way that we say it will before you guys are asked to sign off on everything. We do offer a 30-day post-install support, right? So if something happens after you've signed off, we'll come back, for no charge at all, for up to 30 days. And And then we also will help you with the manufacturer warranties as well. So if something comes up and we need to send it back, we'll come out, we'll take it out, send it to the manufacturer, and we'll charge for us installing it back in. We have a minimum service call of 4 hours typically. And then we do offer extended support contracts as well. So for $5K a year, we can cover all of your AV systems, right? So if that's something that you guys would be interested in, I can get Ronnie a proposal to do that. And that would just be the audio system. We would cover everything. So this is implementation and testing plan. So we would, well, my engineer, who is actually on vacation, and would have been here with me today, but he's unavailable. He's actually done some work in here. We did the cameras in here for Tualatin Valley, and we've done a few other things, just very minimal, right? So we have he's already worked in the building. He already understands what needs to be done here. So we know where we would put this right now. So we would professionally install it and label all of the cables that we put in. We would do the programming for the DSP to make sure that the EQ, the echo cancellation, and the feedback suppression is all set and the way it needs to be. And then we would also, like I said, do a live meeting simulation to make sure that it sounds good here and also for a remote attendee. And then after we've completed a successful test, that's where we would ask for sign-off on the project. And long-term benefits that we see, we will give you a future-proof solution, right, that will last for the next decade. We'll give you improved clarity for public records and remote attendees, and reduce recurring service calls due to outdated hardware, and a scalable system that we can add more microphones into and expand. So, any questions for me? I'm not the most technical, but I will try to answer.
I just have, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I forgot your name again.
Jason.
Jason, that's right. So the wireless mic, are those Bluetooth or FM or what?
Those would be your standard RF.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it'd be a radio frequency. Yeah. And it's just it's a standard Shure microphone.
But it's not Bluetooth.
No, no.
I just have a question about your 30-day, warranty. Two things. Everything seems to happen on the 31st day. Things break down. I swear to God, like on the next day, that's when everything goes kaput. And we only meet once a month. So would you be willing to extend that maybe 60 days?
I mean, yeah, we can make it an exception. Like, I don't know, Ronnie, you can attest to we're pretty quick to respond and come out if asked.
If we could negotiate a 60-day add-on to that, because we only meet once a month, we'd appreciate it.
Okay. I can amend it to 60 days. I'll take the hand slap from.
Well, you're going to do such a great job, you're not going to have to come back.
Yeah, I'm not really concerned. Like this will work.
My only question is, as you can see, like with our current setup, maybe this isn't necessary with a new setup, but will you provide like any kind of training for like how things work? If
We can take it tomorrow if I got hit by a bus.
Yeah.
we know how it. Not working. None of us know how to do it. It's just like, I don't.
It's funny or nobody here.
It's really, well, Lieutenant already knows. And that's, so I didn't want to offer you without asking.
All hands on deck.
I could volunteer you, but I didn't want to. This one I know, I've seen him do it.
Of the whole system and say this is what you have and this is what we would recommend replacing and updating to. And I mean, we could dial this into the place where this microphone sits in the middle of the room and moves the cameras to whoever is speaking.
Oh, I love that.
We just did that in Monmouth. We're doing that in Roseburg right now. And you've got most of the technology things in place once you do this that we could potentially look at adding on some things. Not that I'm trying to upsell you guys right now, but I'm doing my job. So, yeah.
Ronnie has a question.
Oh, 40?
Cost, what's the cost for all this?
Our budget.
Our budget's 40,000 and their estimate is 16,000, is that right?
That
We have a little room to play with.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I was hoping you, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Ronnie, don't you think we need his company to really integrate everything so that everything's working harmoniously?
Like I said before, let's stop putting Band-Aids on it.
Yeah, because maybe we need more, I don't know what we need, but.
would this, okay. Would this be a good first step, and then we can look at the additions? Or does it make more sense to look at like a full, all-inclusive proposal and do that in, like, what makes more sense?
I would honestly take a step back. Not that I'm trying to talk myself out of the sale right now. I would take a step back and let's see how we can maximize the budget. Not to say that we want to go all the way to that 40K, right? I would say let's see what are the key pieces, like having somebody connect into the system to do a presentation like this, right? That we can add those things in with little trouble. But
is it something where you could give us like a couple different options? Like, here's like, if you were to go all out, or like, this would probably fix a lot of your issues, or like, here's your basic audio.
yeah, so since you guys have already started doing the upgrade process on some of these things, it would make sense to take a step back and really just say, okay, what would be the rest, or what would we need to do to get you the rest of the way there?
Mm-hmm.
This is part of that.
Mm-hmm.
But if the scope is expanded, we may be able to find other things that can make things better.
Just make a recommendation
Yeah.
once you're in there. And then I was also gonna say, we're a small city, we only have 5,000, not only, but we're a residents of about give or take 5,000. So $5,000 for a year, with you is a little bit steep, but maybe you could figure out a way. We want to be able to still utilize you.
Yeah. Are you trying to?
I'm a negotiator, that's what and I'm
Okay, I think at this point, thank you for all the information you've given us. Are there any other questions before we discuss
What's timeframe? Like how soon and how long will it take?
Yeah, if we were to, ask for an additional proposal.
For an additional proposal, to see, yeah.
I don't think we need an additional proposal.
Well, for them to come and see what it would take to get us like fully.
Yeah.
He said he's gonna get started and then he can make recommendations if necessary.
I heard it differently, that he said we should take a step back and have somebody come in and see what it would take to get us fully integrated and online and provide that proposal.
Oh, you don't want us to approve your proposal today?
Unfortunately, I feel like I just talked myself out of a sale today.
Okay.
Mhm.
What I'd really rather see you do is, hey, maybe it's another 10K to get things to really where you want them to be. And it makes sense to do that all at one time instead of having us come back out. Because it costs money each time we have to come out, right?
So what would be, I think, then, Councilor Gerhart, what would be the time frame, I guess, for a new proposal, when work could start? I mean, I know that would be dependent on when we approved it, but.
Right, I leave for vacation tomorrow, so that's part of the problem. I'm headed out and I'll be gone until early September with a few things in between, but, I can work with my engineer who gets back on Monday. While I'm on vacation, reach out to him. I would say give us, a good 20 days to get you a new proposal. We're very familiar with the system as it is right now. And, I can get his recommendations and we can put that into a bill of materials.
I don't think we're in a huge rush. We want to get it done right first. And we've been going along for how many years like this?
Maybe we could make a motion to table the next meeting, September 17th.
Before you guys make a decision, I do need to say this real quick. Because we are changing what we put out for RFQ, we have to do the RFQ all over again. So, that meaning I would have to go out ask for 3 bids from somebody else besides Code.
Could you reach out to the same ones you?
I could reach out to the same ones, but whatever they give me, it has to be apples to apples, it can't be apples to oranges.
Can I make a suggestion? It's an out-of-the-box suggestion. Again, I'm a negotiator, it's what I do all day long, and I get paid a lot of money to do it. Why don't we approve your scope so you can get started? And we can then add on, and you can make an additional proposal to the other things that you feel like we're gonna need once you guys get started. The reason is, we already have your bid, we need the system, you're going on vacation, you guys already have worked the system, so we trust that you're not gonna try to upsell us to something we don't need. And if we don't agree with it, then we can cross that bridge, but at least you've got started on what we've already contracted or with the bidding process. Ronnie, do you think that's a okay, out-of-the-box solution?
I think that would be better.
The other thing, go ahead.
So in the proposal, is it okay, I mean, I'm not sure what the process is, so forgive me. Since Jessica here so successfully negotiated a 60-day warranty instead of a 30-day warranty, is there a way to?
Can we approve with
So, yeah, so what you would do is you would do, I think on your forms there's a motion
the last one with the condition of the 60 days?
with the conditions of the 60 days. And then the other thing I might add in there too, just so, the city, acting city manager.
I have a certain amount of signing authority.
Yeah,
I can spend money.
You can spend money up to $5,000.
Yeah, to where
Yeah, so
if
then,
that's something we needed
we
to
need,
add on,
at that minute,
we could just.
yes, okay.
Yeah, we would keep you guys apprised, saying, hey, we're spending this $4,000 from spending budget or limit. But I have a feeling it's gonna be a little bit more than that, but,
I also wanted to mention that we do participate in a couple of government contracts that you could avoid having to go out back to RFQ on. So we do have the Omnia contract that we can utilize. And we just signed up one, that's back east that I've never participated in or used before, but, you know, for example, the city of Roseburg used it, just recently, the city of Ashland has used it.
Just want to what we want to do is we want to find a way to get started.
Sure.
We want to trust you that you're not going to try to gouge us, because remember, we're sitting at approximately 5,000, and most of them, in my mind, a senior is 55 and above. So we have a lot of seniors that live here, and a lot of them are on fixed income. So we're just trying to be fiscally responsible, but we also understand that we're not trying to take advantage of you. But whatever you can do to help us, because we're not a huge city like Tiger or not yet.
Could we, this third motion here, I'm wondering if the conditions, could we make it the 60-day guarantee plus, approval for suggestions on upgrades or something like that?
yeah, I would probably do a dollar amount, just up to 10,000, up to 15, or so that way.
I mean, but I would like to see what additional things we would be doing.
So I would leave that out then.
Okay, so just the 60-day guarantee. Okay, I think that's probably all we.
I have one
questions we
question,
have.
Jason.
Okay.
How big is your firm?
I'm like in.
How many people? Yeah.
We have about 130 nationwide.
So you're throughout the country?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have,
Out of LA?
yes, the company is based out of Burbank, LA. But we have an office here in Portland and in Seattle as well. So I cover the whole state of Oregon.
Okay. Thanks.
I would like to make a motion that we adopt
You want to authorize
City Manager Pro Tem Ernie. I don't have a copy of this.
Here, let me give you mine, because we want to add a condition, so.
Oh, okay, great. Pro Tem Ernie Hapola to execute the key code agreement to upgrade the council chamber audio equipment with, the one change of it being a 60-day guarantee.
Do I hear a second? Okay, so the motion on the floor is, to authorize City Manager Pro Tem, Ernie Hapola to execute the key code agreement to upgrade the council chamber's audio equipment with the following conditions of a 60-day guarantee. We can open discussion if anybody would like further discussion on this.
I think we need to add one more provision,
So if you want to amend the motion?
amend the motion. to not only include the 60-day guarantee, but also to include that you'll give us some kind of an itemized report of what more might need to be done.
I think we decided that would be a separate, it would come back to us as a separate, like, resolution, a separate proposal.
Well, I thought he's first gonna give us his eyeballs, and then we're gonna take it from there.
We switched course to what you said, having them get started on this, and then he will bring another proposal to us for additional pieces that we could approve at that time. So the motion on the floor right now is just to approve the audio for them to get started.
Okay, are we still in discussion then?
Yeah, so if you would like to, you have your 5 minutes discussion.
My question then is, what if he's working in this and you see something that needs to be done right then to finish it? Do we have some authority to spend up to $5,000?
I heard him say that he does.
I'd like to make sure that's added to this motion.
I don't think,
It's a
Automatic?
resolution 2012.
Okay, so it's already included, we don't have to add it?
no, it's already a provision that he can,
As long as he
Has
has,
authority, if he finds something that has to be done like right now, it's $50, go ahead and do it.
please don't make me come to another meeting to approve that.
We can do that as a change order.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, great, so I'm good with the motion. Any other discussion?
Nope, I'm
It's
good.
been
Thank you.
seconded. Any other questions?
What about Vince?
I got it. I will ask him. Counselor Tyso, do you have any discussion you'd like to add? No. Okay. Counselor Diddy, would you have anything you would like to add?
No,
Can't even see it.
Okay. Let's go ahead and, take this to a vote. I will restate our motion here. The motion on the floor is to authorize City Manager Pro Tem, Ernie Haviland to execute the Key Code Agreement to upgrade the council chambers audio equipment with the following conditions of a 60-day guarantee. We'll do a roll call vote. Councilor Gearhart.
Yes.
Council President Braverman.
Yes.
Councilor Tyso.
Yes.
Councilor Arditi.
yes.
And Mayor Kazmersky, yes. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you so much for your time and
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you so
presentation.
much.
All right, next item on our list is Resolution 2025, R2025-15, a resolution to authorize funding for cultural resource survey at the Tualatin River Access Point.
Yes, Ronnie, do you have that map that I sent you earlier today?
Is it a PowerPoint?
No, it's just a PDF category. Okay, so, I'll start by going back to what kind of brought this project into. So originally, the kayak was not part of the West Side Trail, and in 2024, after we started doing public outreach, it became readily apparent that, a lot of people in the community wanted river access. Accessible, ADA, easy to get to, river access in the city that they could get to closely. Like an aerial shot. Should have been in the same email that I sent that had the aerial of the other thing. So anyway, we wanted to start getting for grants for that. And so I applied for an Oregon State Marine Board grant. They have 3 cycles that are on a biennium every year. It was the third of the cycles within the biennium, which is the least amount. It's kind of like the money that they have left over from their grant cycle. And so we were awarded $133,000 with a $60,000, give or take, under the condition that the city had a land use agreement in place with the Bonneville Power Administration, because that's going to be the location of where the kayak launch is going to be. At the time, when we were getting the grant, our conversations with the BPA folks, it seemed like they were totally on board and that it wasn't going to be a big issue. They said, yeah, we really don't foresee, and we were talking with some higher up folks in their land use positions. But as things went on, and then there were also cuts at the federal level of BPA, and conversations kind of dragged, and different aspects of what they were requiring started coming in that they didn't initially require during our initial steps. And so as it went on, we had a deadline with Oregon State Marine Board of June 30th to have this land use agreement in place, or else we will not be eligible for the $70,000 reimbursement to the grant. So the $133,000 work has already been completed by the city for the project. The Oregon State Marine Board was gracious enough to allow the city a extended deadline for the land use agreement to November 1st, again, under the condition that we get that land use agreement in place. During our negotiations with BPA, it also became very apparent that the conversation to get the land use agreement for the entire power line corridor is going to be extenuous and take a long time. So we lowered the scope, said, okay, let's just look at the area that is on the river. And so the blue line, it's hard to see, there's a yellow line in the top right that shows the HOA property beginning. That line delineates the edge of the scope of the project. So the work, no work is being done in private property. It's all
That's the Edgewater HOA?
Yes. So it's all BPA property and property that's owned by the city where this cultural work will be done. Our hope is that if this resolution passes, kind of going back to what Councilor Braverman was saying, is, we want to be transparent and say, okay, we're spending $25,000 so that we can get this work done, potentially get that $70,000 grant back from the Oregon State Marine Board, and at the very least, if the chips don't fall where we want them to, we can at least keep this project going, and then when the Oregon State Marine Board opens their next cycle of grants, we can still say, hey, we've done this work. We did everything, but we just didn't have the one condition in place, but now we do, and we can go back to them and hopefully get some more grant funds. And so the work itself, a few years ago, the city did like a survey, like a pedestrian survey in the power line corridor for cultural resources. Pedestrian meaning literally just kind of walking on the ground and not doing any subsurface surveying, and just, you go and you talk to the tribes and stuff like that, and we received comments from the tribes that say they don't really have a lot of concern except for when you get back towards the river. So their primary focus was obviously cultural sites will be closer to the river as the settlements and things would have been taking place. And so we've already notified the tribes that this is work that we are hoping to be doing soon, and this $24,000 expenditure will authorize the city to enter into an updated contract with our engineering firm, Consor, who has the sub-consultant doing the cultural resource analysis, which is the Willamette Cultural Resources Associates. So it's an archaeological survey. It will inform the city, it will inform BPA, it will inform the tribes if there's any cultural significance at the site, and it will potentially get the city $70,000 reimbursement, and it will allow us to hopefully get into a land use agreement for that site soon, so we can keep moving forward with the kayak launch. That the Oregon State Marine Board grant also had letters of support from the city council at the time. Tualatin River Keepers offered a letter of support. I participated in the Discovery Day for the Tualatin River Keepers this past first day of summer. I don't know if you guys remember the weather that day. It was like 60 degrees and rainy. Not a great day for kayaking. So I had my little tent, I'm getting rained on, all this stuff. But the design is really great. It's ADA compliant, it's a floating dock. So we've done all that like preliminary design work. And I'm just hoping to kind of get this across the finish line so that we can move forward with the project. So do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, let's do questions. Yep, go for it.
I don't really have a question. Mostly I just have a comment very much in support of the archaeological study, because I think it's very important that if there is anything that signage or some kind of homage can be made that recognizes the people who were here eons before us. So I'm very much in support of this.
Council President Braverman, did you have a question?
Just a few thoughts. Again, they're kind of random, and I'll just throw them out at you because I know you'll help me figure this out. A couple of things. One, I was out there last weekend, just cruising, walking around. I think there are a lot of gas things underground in that vicinity. I'm assuming those are all well marked.
So none of this work can be done without permitting and sign off from Kinder Morgan. Kinder Morgan has a gas pipeline that goes
Yeah, they do.
underneath.
Yeah.
If you look at the design, I can send it out to you guys later. It typically avoided the gas pipeline because it's kind of hugging to the east a little bit, and the approach is to the west. And that's also one of the reasons why we need cooperation with EPA, because if the gas pipeline wasn't there, we could have just put it on the city property and been done with it.
Right.
We had
I saw
to avoid
that.
Yeah.
And so my second question is, where are the people going to park who are going to come out to hopefully one day use this launching pad? Are they going to be parking at the park down there? And
They'll be parking at the park. There is, just a gravel lot right now. Potentially, we would look to expand that. If you get a land use agreement with CPA, then we could do some more grading. We could expand the gravel park until the time when we have enough funds to, long-term vision is to actually have an expanded asphalt parking lot.
Right, but my point is they'll be driving to Edgewater and Edgewater's roads basically to get there. And so has any impact study been done to kind of figure out like how that might impact the residents that live there? And again, I need to disclose that I live there, and so I have a potential conflict, but I'm just curious because I know the questions will come up to you from another source.
No traffic impact study has been done.
So the gravel area is the gray on the right that we see there?
Mm-hmm.
And then where would the kayak launch be?
I can point it out. I follow the way that the dirt path is right now. So the dirt path comes down this way. We would want to avoid these power lines.
Oh, now you did it.
It would pretty much be in the same footprint as the little wooden dock that's down there.
It's down there right now, yeah.
There's a little wooden dock, and it would go kind of on top of that. And, long term, to get the grade, we would have to dial back the bank of the river a little bit so that we could have the ADA compliance. That shouldn't be much. So it will just kind of come down and then out.
And then I want to repeat Jan's question about Indian artifacts survey. What do you do about that, Max?
My understanding, and I'm not an archaeologist, I have a background in archaeology, but my understanding is that as soon as anything found, you do a stop work, you call the tribes, you inform them, you wait on them for procedure, you also call, I think, the National or the Oregon Conservation Society, and so there's a very rigid legal procedure done when you find that.
When you find something. How about reaching out to some known tribal members ahead of time and say, hey, by the way, we're going to be doing this?
We've already done that.
Have you? Okay.
So we've reached out to the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde so that they know.
Awesome. That's great. And what about erosion control? Would putting in the dock create or reduce erosion?
Well, you would have to have footing for the dock, so, you would have concrete put inside the side of the embankment. That would provide erosion control. I mean, the river swells and goes down. I know Cook Park, just over in Tigard, their old dock suffered from some serious erosion. They just did a big overhaul and installed a new dock. But I think the modern technology and the methods that are used nowadays by professional engineers account for erosion control for longevity.
Okay.
I wanted to go ahead.
I just a comment on the traffic, and I think that is an important issue to figure out how you can have turnover, because people will be going down through, I mean, there's no other way to get there except to go through Edgewater and to try to figure out maybe the preferred route through Edgewater that would have a little less impact. I'm not sure what it would.
Up in Edgewater, because right now there's only really one way to get to the park. Alley is private, so it's a bottleneck. So yeah, that is a constraint.
Oh, I'm not supposed to drive down that alley?
Well, so, I don't want to get off topic, but I think if I could just speak to this for a minute, because I think it's relevant. I would really like to see us before, because I know it must be a long process, and you're doing a wonderful job I don't even know how to spell what you do, like get these grants and do all that stuff. But I just wish that we could figure some of these ground rules first before we get these grants and literally jump into these projects and then backpedal to figure out how we're going to put the infrastructure there and deal with the tribes and all that. I personally would like to see, Edgewater is very dear and near to me. I live there. I'm the president of their HOA. I have a conflict here, so I'm going to recuse myself on this. But I'm just saying that it's not just something simple for the Edgewater community to have all these cars coming in and out, and they don't really get to hear what's going on until the project's already underway. They are 1/5 of your constituency. There's about 1,000 people that live in Edgewater, so they make up about 1/5 of your voting base, and yet they're never really consulted or talked to about how it might impact them. I would just like to think about this going forward, maybe in a different way, but we are where we are now, and I think it's a wonderful thing to do this archaeology study, and I'm supportive of it.
I would just like to bring back Randy Olson's questions about Exhibit A. The project schedule obviously would be different, and then the signatory would be different. I don't know if we would just add that to our motion to update those.
Let's look for, I don't know if that's.
In Exhibit A, that's what, I think that was the question. Is it necessary to?
The project schedule is assumed, because this got delayed a couple months. And then on the signatory sheet that I have printed out that I was hoping to get signed tonight, if approved, I did put, sheet copies.
It's already been updated, okay.
It would be on the official document.
Okay. So it sounds like the project schedule doesn't prohibit us from approving this, right? Okay.
The requested action.
Okay. At this point, we would like to entertain a motion on whether to approve this project.
I would entertain a motion to approve this project.
Would you like to make the motion?
You have it.
We don't need the conditions, so that's right up here.
Okay, so I move to approve our 2025-15, a resolution to authorize funding for cultural resource survey at the Tualatin River Access Point with a.
We don't need the condition.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
I second the motion.
Okay. Got a second by Councilor Gearhart. We can open for discussion. Councilor Gearhart, do you have any points of discussion you would like to bring?
No, I think I'm all done.
Council President Braverman, do you have any further points of discussion? Councilor Tyso?
I do not. My only thing is that we need to, I think, once this happens, that we need to figure out how to ameliorate some of the traffic. And I don't have a clue what that would look like.
And speaking of traffic.
Would you like to add to the discussion?
Yes, please.
Okay. Go for it. You have 5 minutes.
There's a bit of a dock there now, and it's being used probably rather infrequently. Those people drive down there.
It's not in the best shape.
I'm sure those people drive down there and use the dock and then use the road. So it's been used.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Braverman. Councilor Arditi, do you have any discussion points you would like to add?
No.
All right, and I don't have any either. Any further discussion points before we go to a vote? All right, motion on the table is to approve Resolution R-2025-15, a resolution to authorize funding for cultural resource survey at the Tualatin River Access Point. We'll do a roll call vote, starting with Councilor Arditi.
Yes.
Okay, Councilor Tyso?
Yes.
Council President Braverman?
I have to recuse myself, and I'm going to abstain from voting because I am the HOA board president at Edgewater. I feel like I brought up some issues and I disclosed I'm bringing those issues forward. So for those reasons, I feel that I must abstain.
Okay, Counselor Gearhart.
Yes.
Okay, and I would like to say that I do also have a potential conflict as I live in Edgewater, but I will vote on this, and my vote is yes as well. So motion passes 4-0-1. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, to discuss and consider LGPS and prop and bid. I believe we still do not have an LGPS bid. This is for helping the city find a new city manager. So I think the prop and bid is the only one up for discussion tonight. Before we make a motion, well, if anybody wants to make a motion, that's fine. But does anybody have further just points they would like to make?
We'll have Steve online.
Oh, that's great, yeah,
Awesome.
we wanted to meet Steve, and if we can meet him, and I think we're ready to I can make a motion.
Oh, I'm having Steve on now, let me stop
Yeah.
sharing
That would actually be great, and we can.
ask him.
Hi, Steve. Thank you so much for being here.
Can you make him bigger?
I think, hold on one second.
I hear you.
We can't hear you yet.
So I can't even see him.
It doesn't look like you're muted. I'm not sure.
Can't hear him, can't see him.
Here we go.
There
Let's
you
try
go.
that. Is that better?
Here we go.
Excellent.
Hi, welcome.
Thank
you
you.
so much
It's a
for
pleasure to
being
be
here.
with you tonight. So, well, I would be happy to discuss our proposal. I could review it for you or answer questions. Just depends how you'd like to proceed.
I think that the proposal we had last week was very thorough. We just really wanted the opportunity to put a face to your name and be able to ask any additional questions. Were there any that came up between last week and this week for Steve?
I think the only question I had for you, Steve, is that, what is kind of your style in working with the council and the staff and the community? I mean, if you were going to label your kind of working style, how would you describe it?
Thank you. Good question, and I haven't been asked that before. So let me think about that for just a second. I spent a good deal of my time early in the process. Well, let me back up just a little bit. I'll describe a little bit about our process, if I may. Just that the two things we get going on first is creating the position profile, which I engage in a little bit, but we have other team members that really focus on that. For me, I get started working with the stakeholder process primarily, and that's spending time with each one of you and trying to make sure I understand what it is you individually are looking for, and then trying to get a sense of where, from a collective position, you would like to take the city in the future as its leaders. So that's a key piece of what I do, and having been a city manager and currently an elected official in my 12th year on council, I've got a perspective I think that is helpful there. And so I use that information, and then we start using that. I use that later in our screening process. Also, what I want to be able to do is make sure I'm including the people that you the viewpoints that you want to include as well. So if there's a particular interest set, if that's the business community, other subsets of community leaders, members of the employee groups, whatever that might be, we'll reach out to those. I'll reach out to those and have conversations with them too. So when I think about how to describe that, I think about it as being inclusive. And then when we get through the interviewing process, which we go out for about 5 weeks of advertising, and then I do interviews online and write a report up, I try and provide some insight into what the individuals are like. And so sharing that insight from my experience is one of the things I think I bring to the table. And that's what that manager talents are, what their experiences are, and then maybe a bit more about them as well and how they interact, and to give you a flavor of what that individual is like. So I guess back to your question, I try to be inclusive, and I also try to give you some insight and work hard to help you in the screening process. I guess the other thing is being perceived as certainly being fair and even-handed entirely in this process. I don't have favorites in this. It's for you to be able to pick out who you want. So being a facilitator and an honest broker in this is really a important part of what I bring to the table as well. That's later, you'll see that more in the discussions when we get to the decision parts. Sometimes those discussions can be, they're just, it's a big decision and it takes a certain amount of energy and focus, and helping you work through that process. I enjoy that role as well in that facilitation piece. So does that help answer your question, Counselor?
Yes, thank you. After your first initial round of interviews, how many of those do you typically recommend to the council?
So usually, well, for screening interviews, I do those myself, and I usually will do anywhere from 6 to 10, maybe more if it's a really big pool. And every community is different. Every city is a little different, and it's hard to know how many folks you'll have. And then bringing those to you, I might have, we'll say I interview 10, and I'll make this number up because I don't have a target of how many I'll recommend. It's really how many have earned that recommendation. And so I may bring 6 to you that I'm recommending, and then I'll rank those in some order. That's my scoring. And I can explain why Susie scored higher than Bobby or whatever it might be. So I describe why my scoring is where it is. And then you can select who you wish to interview. Back to the heart of your question, for the final interview, I'd say at least 3 and no more than 5. You can do 6, but it's a tough day if you do 6. A tough day for you. So anyhow.
Do you record these interviews? Is it appropriate for us to be able to watch those to come to our own kind of conclusion about the answers that were given?
The way we do it is I give you a report based on that. Remember early in the process when we're doing the stakeholders piece with you and a meeting with you. Excuse me for a second. I need to clear my throat just a moment. When we're meeting early and talking about stakeholders or with stakeholders, I'll develop themes that I'm hearing from each of you and use those themes in our questions, along with some of the standard things that we check on about management, leadership characteristics and such. So I'll report on those to you. But we don't actually bring you in videos to watch. It's a written report. It's quicker, and it gives you a more a sense of summary. Now, the final interviews, you are in person, in the room, and all of that. So, and working through things there. But
Steve, I think last month we learned you live in Vancouver, so we would have plenty of time to have interface with you.
Yes, and just to be clear, I'm not quite in Vancouver
yet. That would be one-on-one?
Yeah. I'm in the process of moving to Vancouver and selling my home in University Place and resigning from council. But my home is just about in the sale completion, and I plan to be in Vancouver in about 30 days. So just to be clear about where we are in that process. But yes, I'm readily available in the Vancouver area once that move takes place.
We would be able to meet with you one-on-one.
Yes, you'll be meeting me one-on-one or virtually. It's your choice. I'd be happy to, and I certainly do want to get into King City and experience that and check out the golf course, not for my swing, but just to get a sense of the community. So anyhow.
Sure.
So with your move and everything going on right now, is it this time you are not available for about 30 days, am I hearing? Or you're going to try to start while you're doing all those other things? That sounds so ambitious.
And, I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear that. Were you asking how many other projects I'm working on?
No, I was just saying that with your move and everything, that's a pretty ambitious to take this on in addition, or should we give you the 30 days and to move and then we'll get started then? What's your preference?
Yeah. So we're the key timelines on this is once we get the contract signed, we usually can get the profile with your help, your team's help, completed and ready for your review and finalization in a week to 10 days. we can get the profile done in about 3 days, and then there's a couple of iterations of it as, you know, you say, no, let's change that, or let's leave this, or change this picture route. So long and short of it, it takes a week to 10 days for that to get done. Then we do about 5 weeks of advertising, about 10 days or so of interviews. Then I have a report to write that takes a couple of days. So let's call that 2 weeks. And then I bring that to you. So you're about at that point, about 8 weeks from when the contract gets signed, that you would be seeing a list of candidates. And interviews could be 2 to 3 weeks after that. So about 10 weeks from the start of contract, 10 or 11 weeks, you have the potential for final interviews, depending upon your calendars. And it's always a good idea to start thinking about those dates as soon as we get together on kicking the project off, so we can reserve that time. Does that help answer what you were asking?
Yes, thank you.
Any further questions? Would anybody like to make a motion?
I would. I can make a motion to authorize City Manager Ernie Haffler to execute an agreement with Proffman.
Second? I second it. Okay, we'll move to, the motion on the table is to authorize City Manager Ernie Haffler to execute an agreement with Proffman. We can open up discussion. Councilor Tyso, do you have anything to add to discussion?
I don't.
Councilor Gerhart, do you have anything to add?
Nope.
Councilor Arditi, do you have anything to add to discussion?
No.
Okay, Council President Braverman? Okay, I do not either, so let's go ahead and move to a vote. We will do roll call. Council President Braverman?
Yes.
Okay, Councilor Tyso?
Yes.
Councilor Gerhart?
Yes.
Councilor Arditi?
Yes.
And Mayor Kazmierski, yes. Motion passes 0. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank you very
coming.
much. I appreciate that, counselors, and I look forward to meeting in person soon. So, all right. Thank you.
That sounds great. Thank you so much. Next item up is our discussion and consider of city attorney services. Since last week, we did have a few attorneys that were recommended by Ashley Driscoll. I reached out to Bateman Seidel and spoke with Missy Ryan and Carrie Richter and had really good conversations with them. I believe Council President also had conversations with them. And then yesterday we did have a lunch meeting with both of them and went through our needs and our vision, and they're really great and very eager to help as interim city attorneys, and that would be where I would like to see this go tonight, is that we would consider direct appointment of Bateman Seidel, Missy Ryan, and to represent us just in the interim. They would also be able to help us find a more permanent option, but would be really great in the meantime.
And where did those names come from?
That was recommended by Ashley Driscoll.
Right.
And Ronnie sent us an email last week, and that was the first. So,
And Ronnie also did send out a standard agreement that they provided to me this morning. It is open. It's open. There's no scope purposely because it would be the services of interim city attorney. So anything as we need them to do.
Yeah. I also like to point out, I believe Megan is from Luba, so she
Missy.
knows, or
Missing.
Missy has
Oh,
20 years of LUBA experience.
I was
Carrie is currently a city attorney with Oregon City. So there's a lot of experience that comes with both of these.
Yeah.
And the race.
Well, go ahead. I might be able to answer your question.
So I met with them yesterday. First of all, they are former judges on the LUBA. They voted against Mike Meyer. I wanted to disclose that right away. And that impressed me because they were very transparent, which is what we're looking for, and they were very honest, and they didn't try to hide something. One of them also said they were contacted possibly by Randy Olson a long time ago when he was seeking counsel for the recall, chief petitioner. So they disclosed all that to us. We asked them some pretty hard questions. They are not good in parliamentarian rules. They admitted that too. But they are very seasoned attorneys. They're very eager to work collaboratively. It's exciting that both of them are women. And they are coming to the table with a wealth of knowledge. They do not play favorites. They're not here to do anything except to help us on an interim basis and to help us get from where we are to where we need to be. And so I was kind of skeptical initially because of the LUBA appeal, and I was like, oh no, we don't want to find someone that's already got some kind of a proclivity of a bias. But I was very impressed with them, and so I can recommend them.
I think I would just like to add too, Missy did say that she was not an expert in parliamentary procedure, but that she would be taking additional courses too. And we have room.
I'm taking those classes too now, so.
Yeah, and we're all doing trainings and we're all trying to make sure that we know the rules, which is great. So, anyway, is there, yeah.
I was just going to say, because you charged us with trying to see if there were other attorneys and so on and so forth. And one of the people that I reached out to was Jamie Pierce, who did the LOC training.
Oh, she was great.
And she was wonderful. And
Is she
so
available?
her first choice happens to be Bateman Seidel
She recommended
with Missy Ryan and Carrie Richter. And I went online and I read their profiles, and I didn't have the privilege of meeting with them like the two of you did, but I feel pretty enthusiastic about this choice.
Great. Wow.
Yeah, I agree. If Jamie recommends it.
Yeah, Jamie Pierce is wonderful, by the way, because I've dealt with her off and on for the last.
And it was a really great training. It sounds like we're kind of all in agreement here, so I would like to. Yep. Do you have your sheet?
Do I have to follow the sheet?
You don't have to, but it's just easier for me to be able to.
All right, hold on. Where is it, Ronnie?
Right here.
At the bottom?
Yeah. Bateman Seidel would be the blank.
I move to authorize our city manager pro tem, Ernie Hackala, to execute an agreement with this law firm,
Bateman Seidel.
to hire them immediately.
I second the motion.
Yes, seconded.
And that was seconded by
Counselor Gearhart. Okay, move to discussion. Anybody have discussion points? I feel like we kind of did that. Counselor Diddy, did you have anything you would like to add to this? I apologize for not. Okay. Let's go ahead and move to a vote. We will do roll call vote. Counselor Gearhart?
Yes.
Counselor Diddy?
Yes.
Counselor Tyso?
Yes.
Council President Braverman?
Yes.
And Mayor Kazmersky, yes. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you all for such great work. We are done a little bit earlier than we thought we would. So again, that concludes our business for our special session, but we will be adjourning into an executive session for the purpose of conducting deliberations on labor negotiations under ORS 192.02D. I have a conflict of interest as my husband is a city employee, so I will be recusing myself and not attending that portion of the meeting. At this point, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Meeting. Work, everybody.
Okay,
Pretty
Council
quickly.
President.
I have that all my notes, sorry. But then I wrote down all the votes on it.
Oh, we're banging it up.
Ronnie,
I'm sorry.
I have a question about this.
I wrote my notes on it. And then you can.
Yeah, I was gonna introduce, but she probably had to leave.
I'll have her, as loud as you can.
Okay.
Can I just take a picture of my notes on the back?
Yeah, that'd be great. How long has she been here?
So she hasn't been here long, it's only been a couple weeks.
All right, I'm gonna leave before you start.
Can I just sit here and do it?
Yeah.
She's.
You guys can.
Okay. HOAs?
No, read it now.
Okay.
Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Attention.
The City of King City Council will now meet in executive session on September 25th. Okay. On August 14th, 2025, at 7:20 p.m. for the purposes of labor negotiations. The executive session is held pursuant to ORS 192.660, in parentheses 2, in parentheses D like dog, which allows the council to meet in executive session to conduct deliberations on labor negotiations. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision may be made in the executive session. How's that? Can you make a note that the mayor has? And the mayor has exited the building. All right, chief, lay it on us.
Hold on. I got it. There's a couple things you gotta wait.
Oh, sorry.
Ronnie can't be here.
Ronnie, you can't be here?
I cannot be here.
He's in the.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
So I'm removing Matt.
I thought my guy was bigger than him.
I'm removing Debbie from the meeting.
Thank you. Can we chat about other things while we're waiting?
Sure.
Sure.
I want to ask.
So, yes, we have a calendar of training and the HOA stuff, we're bringing that back full force. So the PIO will meet with all the.
Okay.
Thank you for supporting me
And
with
then-
Edgewater. I have to recuse
I,
myself.
as you heard from the report, I'm the one who goes down.
Hey, Barbara,
I need to do that too. I couldn't
unmute yourself.
do a joint thing.
We used to do. I just wanna know what it is, and nobody ever tells
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, we did during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
something,
That was just sort of
if it's
one of
easier
those missing
to get
links.
all the
And
HOA
then we
presidents.
can go back and fix that now.
Yeah.
We have to do the.
You know, a lot of them are still doing,
Put your camera on too now, please, thank you.
I am a big supporter of.
Even if you didn't have anything on your
yes,
list, you know, we still got to see each other.
have some dialogue and,
You wanna get.
Regarding this,
Yeah.
Stop and charge for
many
okay.
I'll have it.
Municipalities have nuisance ordinance.
My schedule is always open.
Okay, so
I'm retired.
Okay, so I can just give you a date and time and you guys can.
For the most part, yeah.
Oh, yeah,